Now, a WYFF 4 Sports Special.
I'm excited to go play a game.
We're getting you ready.
I don't have any doubt it's going to be one heck of a game.
For all the action.
Work all year for 12 guaranteed opportunities, and we get our first one Sunday.
On the gridiron.
The game's about us, and it'll always be about how we play.
Now, countdown to kickoff. Live from Death Valley and Williams-Brice Stadium.
College football, welcome back. We have missed you so. The 5 months ahead promise suspense and spectacle, glorious games and unfathomable endings. And so many of the teams that we care about in our neck of the woods will be at the epicenter of it all. Welcome into Countdown to Kickoff. I'm Mark Whiteman. Thanks as always for joining us. Our special stretches across the state tonight from Clemson and Death Valley all the way down to Columbia and Williams-Brice Stadium. That's where Chase Justice is. And massive expectations mark 2025 for both of our ranked teams, the Tigers and the Gamecocks. But we begin tonight with those very same Clemson Tigers who, after making the college football playoff for the first time since 2020, hit the reset button defensively in the offseason, hiring coordinator Tom Allen away from Penn State to fix the mistakes that plagued that unit a year ago when Clemson gave up more than 160 yards a game on the ground. The 55-year-old former Indiana head coach tasked with rebuilding the confidence of a talented defense and putting them in position to succeed.
I needed a guy that could really run that room with the intensity and accountability that I wanted, and he's just done a great job of that. So I said last night on the radio show, it's been a great honeymoon. Hopefully it continues.
One of my jobs was to come here and rebuild that confidence and that belief in themselves and each other and in what we're doing schematically. And so the next step for us to be able to keep growing that is to go out and do it on game day.
Man, I just love him to death, man. Like, he has a fire in him that just never stops burning when it comes to playing defense, and that's exactly what we need.
And a huge challenge right out of the gate for Tom Allen and this Clemson defense against LSU quarterback Garrett Nussmeier, the only returning 4,000-yard passer in college football. His counterpart in this game, Clemson's Cade Klubnik, coming off a 43-touchdown junior season. He's in Heisman Trophy and first overall pick conversations. Klubnik, one of 16 returners for this Tigers team, who for the first time since 2019 opens its season at home. The 4th-ranked Tigers host 9th-ranked LSU just over 48 hours from now. And so much of the talk leading up to this game about the two quarterbacks that will share the field on Saturday night here in Death Valley. But Chase, down in Columbia, there's another quarterback garnering a whole lot of acclaim in Lenore Sellers.
Yeah, Mark, for the first time in more than a decade, the South Carolina Gamecocks will enter the 2025 season ranked inside the preseason top 25. They'll head to Atlanta as the 13th ranked team in the country. And a big reason for that, a pair of preseason All-Americans defensively. It starts with defensive end Dylan Stewart, and offensively look no further than quarterback Lenore Sellers, who's already thrust himself deep into Heisman Trophy conversations. If he can take the next step in Mike Shula's first year as offensive coordinator, this team will be as dangerous as any in the SEC. And just this week, the Gamecocks received some good news that was some 7 months in the making. Transfer running back Rasul Faison officially declared eligible for the upcoming season, giving South Carolina yet another playmaker they can lean on in 2025.
Whether Sewell was eligible or not, we were going to play multiple running backs, and now that he's eligible, he's going to play, and then there'll be other guys in that room that will also play. So it makes a room that I was really excited about already. Makes that room even better.
I didn't really celebrate at all. I was just like, it's time to go now. Like, we had a game in a couple of days, so I just kept preparing like I've been doing.
Defensively, the Gamecocks will look to replace 8 key contributors from a season ago, especially in the trenches, as 7 of those 8 starters played along the defensive front 7. South Carolina season opener hits a little close to home for one Shane Beamer, who played at Virginia Tech underneath his father, the legendary coach Frank Beamer. Gamecocks and Hokies will battle it out in Atlanta Sunday at 3 p.m. For 3 of the past 4 seasons, Kirby Smart has led the Georgia Bulldogs to the heights of the college football playoff. The 5th-ranked team in the nation will have the 2nd-best odds to win the SEC as the Dogs are on the hunt to repeat as conference champs. Tiger Georgia native Gunnar Stockton has had a full offseason to prepare as Georgia's QB1 for an offense that'll have to replace 4 starters along the offensive line, but will get back their leading rusher in Nate Frazier.
You prepare yourself by how you run to the ball, how you strike people, how you move people, how you run the ball, throw the ball, don't turn it over. A lot of sloppiness in first games, penalties. So it starts with that. So you're asking about the opponent. The opponent is us, and it's going to be us every week this year.
Stockton will lean on 2 of the most talented tight ends in the entire country, Oscar Delp and Lawson Lucky, as they gear up to face 5 teams ranked inside the preseason top 25. Bit of a tune-up game to get the year started in Athens. It'll be the Dogs taking on the University of Marshall Thundering Herd between the hedges Saturday at 3:30. Kirby Smart, just one of the many high-profile coaches that we have the opportunity of covering on a daily basis. But up the road in Clemson, you're going to be hard-pressed to find anybody that's more excited to get the season started than Clemson's Dabo Swinney.
Chase, you're right. He is absolutely fired up after a nearly hour-long press conference on Tuesday. Really appreciate Dabo Swinney taking a few more minutes to chat with us. We had a chance to talk about his team, of course, LSU, and I asked him about his new starting running back, Adam Randall, who made the position switch from wide receiver in the spring. All right, Coach, after all the buildup, it is finally game week. As you look back at the course of this offseason from spring practice and summer workouts, now fall camp, what excites you the most about this team?
Just getting to go play. I mean, this is a team that's done the work. I mean, they've really been an easy team to coach to this point. Good leadership, good experience, and a healthy team. That's something to be excited about.
You've spoken so often about how business-like this team has been in its approach really all preseason long. You've been doing this a long time. How unique is that in terms of a team being so singularly focused on what's ahead?
Yeah, every team is different. Every team has their own personality. Some teams you got to kind of lead them a little bit more than others, but this is a team that's really embraced the work. They really have been a team that's shown up and like, hey, this is what we got. Let's go, and that's been it's been fun.
I want to ask you about Adam Randall, a guy who could have transferred, instead made a decision to switch positions. When we heard from him earlier this month, he said he wanted to be here. He wanted to make an impact at Clemson. You've talked about how you think he could be one of the best stories in college football this year. What type of player, what type of leader are Clemson fans going to be rooting for at running back this year in Adam Randall?
He's a special person. He's been through a lot. He's had some good moments. He's had some tough moments. He's had battled through some injuries and things like that. And he's just one of those people that, man, you just pull for in life. He's about all the right things. He loves Clemson. He loves his teammates. He's incredibly unselfish. If this guy stays healthy, and that's what my prayer is for him, he's going to have a great year. And because he's done the work and he's confident, and he's a very, very talented football player. Got a tough task right out of the gate, but he's ready to roll, and so are we.
Final question for you. As you've prepared for LSU and drilled in on these Tigers, what are the challenges they present, particularly in that first game of the year when there are so many unknowns going into an opener?
They're similar to us, as far as on paper, how you evaluate them. They've got elite quarterback play. They've got really good skill. And they got dudes up front on both sides in the trenches. Very good linebacker play, very good corners. It's a very talented, a very experienced group, just like our group. So a lot of similarity, more similarities than differences.
We are just getting cooking on Countdown to Kickoff. Coming up, we will check in on 10 other programs across the state. But when we return, you just heard from Dabo Swinney, Chase's sit-down interview with South Carolina head coach Shane Beamer as he prepares for year 5. Leading the Gamecocks, stay with us. You're watching Countdown to Kickoff.
Welcome back to Countdown to Kickoff. When Shane Beamer first took over the South Carolina program, there were plenty of unknowns. But heading into year 5, Coach Beamer is confident his team knows exactly who they are and the heights they're capable of reaching this season. So, Coach, Entering year 5 here at South Carolina, the expectations are at an all-time high coming off a great season in 2024. The natural next progression feels like college football playoff. What's it going to take between now and December to hopefully get your name in that conversation?
Yeah, a lot of hard work. We put ourselves in the mix last year, and we were in the conversation, and that's the way it should be at South Carolina every year with this program. There's no ceiling on this program, and that's our expectations every season. And this season specifically, obviously, we got a really talented quarterback, and he gives you a chance. He's got to continue to improve, and then we've got to be, great around him. We lost a lot of production off last year's team. We lost a lot of leadership off last year's team. So we've got to recreate that production, and then we've got to develop great leadership. But, we got the right ingredients to be able to do that, and got a lot of work to do and eager to get started.
You get one of the most talented quarterbacks in the country back in Lenore Sellers. How much of this season, and as far as taking that next step, hopefully entering that college football playoff conversation, hinges on him becoming not one of the best quarterbacks in the SEC, but in the entire country?
Yeah, at any level, high school, college, NFL, if your quarterback plays well, that gives you a chance. And he's got to play well, but it's just a natural progression. He didn't have a lot of experience going into the season last year. He didn't have any, really. And then because of some injuries, he didn't really play a complete game until complete SEC game until Game 5 against Ole Miss. So you just watched him how he continued to progress and get better the last half of the season. Confident that he'll continue to do that as we go into this season, and if he does, that gives us high hopes.
Coach Beamer will no doubt have the most talented team he's assembled since coming to Columbia some 5 years ago. But back at home in the upstate, Furman and Wofford were two teams that were in the middle of the road in the SoCon, and Mark for Clay Hendricks over at Furman, that's certainly not something that he's accustomed to.
Chase, no question, Furman anxious to turn the page after a difficult and frustrating season a year ago. The Paladins finished 3-8 in 2024, and injuries, inexperience, and turnovers just too much to overcome. One of the worst turnover margins in the FCS last year. It was their first losing record in a full season under head coach Clay Hendricks. Furman, though, far from a finished product this year. Hendricks thinks they're in a much better position than they were a year ago at this time. He's focused on playing to their identity of an efficient offense that takes care of the ball and a physical defense that limits big plays.
Coaches, we looked hard at what we did. You better always look at yourself first. We've changed a lot of things, I think, which to maybe the normal person may not notice it, but I think it's creating an identity. I think we've sold that to our guys, and I think they're bought into that on both sides of the ball.
We're going to execute at the highest level. We're going to be an executing first team, and I think that's really important. If we execute at the highest level, then we'll win.
Quarterback Trey Hedden, who you just heard from there, started 8 games as a true freshman. Hendricks praising his work ethic and growth. The Dins host William & Mary at Paladin Stadium Saturday at 2. I got to tell you, there is a good vibe around the Wofford Terriers right now. They made tangible progress last year. Sean Watson's second full season on the job. At 5-7, it was their best season since 2019, and several of their SoCon losses last year were one-score games in the fourth quarter. Straining to finish those games has been top of mind all offseason. Terriers picked to finish near the bottom of the league, but they are not bothered by preseason projections. They like where they're headed.
We're not coaching effort. We're not coaching at all. The kids, we are a player-led program. 4th and 5th year kids have done a phenomenal job. They will not let off of anybody's neck out here, coaches or players. Everybody's really taking care of each other.
They're going to see how physical we are, how we play our brand of football, and we're going to change a lot of people's minds.
Everybody likes an underdog, but we don't feel like we're underdogs in here. We know what we have within this team, and everybody's coming back united as one for one goal.
That's Jaden Whitaker you just heard from. He won the open quarterback competition throughout camp. He is a transfer from D2 Gannon University, and he will get the nod for Wofford's opener against South Carolina State this weekend. So Furman and Wofford both hoping to take that next step this fall, Chase. The other Division I team in our area, they're just hoping to build on what they were able to achieve at the end of last season.
That's right, Mark. Few teams closed out the 2024 season stronger than the Presbyterian Blue Hose, who won 4 straight en route to their best finish in more than a decade, and the first time that head coach Steve Englehart has finished the year at Presbyterian with a record of 500 or better. Good news for Coach Englehart. PC will return a bulk of production that they leaned on just last season. They'll get back 9 starters on the offensive side of the ball, including quarterback Colin Hurst, who totaled 22 touchdowns and more than 2,500 yards in 2024. He'll have his top 2 leading receivers back in the offense and all PFL selections, Dominic Kibbe and Sincere Gill.
When I first took over the program is just trying to, teach them how to compete, just compete. And then you got to compete to win. And finally last year, I thought that we competed to win and we eliminated the fear of failure. And I think that was a big thing for us. And so expectations are high, like always for us within our program.
On the defensive side, Coach Englehart says their defensive line is a unit they'll rely heavily on this fall. And boy, will they have a pair of powerhouses to open the season, starting on the road at 11th-ranked Mercer before returning to the upstate for a road date against the Furman Paladins. We're coming up on halftime of our Countdown to Kickoff special, but I can assure everybody at home that we are a second-half team. It's year 1 for the Conference Carolinas as a football conference, and coming up, we will take a drive across the upstate as several teams look to leave their mark in the ever-changing landscape of Division II college football. Stick with us. You're watching Countdown to Kickoff.
Welcome in once more to Death Valley and our Countdown to Kickoff special. And it is a dawn of a new era in Tigerville. For the first time in 50 years, Conference Carolinas is sponsoring football once more as new NGU Trailblazers head coach Nate Garner prepares to make his debut. The 7-year NFL coaching vet comes to Tigerville from Limestone, where he was the offensive line coach. North Greenville will return a 3-year starter at quarterback in Broome alum Dylan Ramirez. And from a skill position standpoint, Garner says there's a bunch of guys vying for key reps for the preseason favorite to win their newly formed conference.
None of that stuff in the past matters. None of the preseason stuff matters. All I want them to do is go to work every single day, man. I'm excited about Conference Carolinas, man. It's going to be cool to host the first game in, 51 or 52 years. So it'll be awesome to host that opening game for the conference. And the strength of the team is going to be their togetherness, man. They're going to play together. They're going to play for each other. They're going to love up on each other, and they're going to work hard for each other.
The Trailblazers kick off at Delta State University a week from Saturday. And after years building the infrastructure, Anderson took the field finally last fall. The Trojans started 15 freshmen and 7 transfers and finished 3-8 in year 1 under former Furman head coach Bobby Lamb. Hung with some established teams, too. Now they're more experienced, more confident, and taking aim at more than just a winning season in year 2.
We're older, we're stronger, we're bigger, we're a year more in the maturity department. This year's preseason camp has gone so much more smoother because they know how to practice. It's a big step when you know what you're doing.
We have the confidence to see that we were in a lot of one-score games last year, that we weren't just getting blown out of the water by anybody. We were in those games. So it gives us confidence to know that we got it.
Anderson opens at Shorter in Rome, Georgia, Saturday at noon, and then the Trojans will be home the following weekend for the first time this fall against the Erskine Flying Fleet. And Chase, I know you went down to Due West earlier this month to catch up with Erskine.
Another team that's entering new territory this fall, no doubt, the Erskine Flying Fleet. One of 7 teams making the jump in year 1 of Conference Carolinas play. Year 6 for head coach Shat Boyd down the road in Due West is certainly shaping up to be a good one. He will have a sophomore quarterback, Braylon Boyd, who currently has the inside track for the starting job, and he will be surrounded by a talented group of receivers like 6'5" sophomore Radshawn Dorsey. On the other side of the ball, Coach Boyd calls the defense an unknown commodity with competition happening all across the field.
I think our guys understand that it is kind of a year that we need to step up. Like I said, bouncing around like we have, it hasn't been easy, but I do think, again, going back to the resiliency, our kids have learned. Kids have learned a lot.
I think there's a lot of work that's been put in that people haven't seen, and I think we're ready to not sneak up on some teams, but compete with them and, take off early.
For the first time in school history, Erskine will play their home games in the town of Due West over at Dixie High School. Big Week 1 matchup coming up for the Flying Fleet. They'll open up the season at Anderson on Saturday, September 6th. It's the fourth quarter of our Countdown to Kickoff special, but we still have plenty of more teams that we have to get to. We're going to take things outside the upstate down to the shore, where the Coastal Carolina Chanticleers are looking forward to another big year of football, hoping to get back to bowl eligibility for a 6th straight season. Plus, we take a look at the reigning defending MEAC champs, the South Carolina State Bulldogs, as they look to pick up right where they left off entering year 2 under head coach Chennis Perry. Don't touch that remote. You're watching Countdown to Kickoff only on WYFF News 4. Welcome back to Countdown to Kickoff. The Coastal Carolina football team is coming off their first losing season since 2019 last year. So Chanticleers head coach Tim Beck says he is putting a major focus on accountability this fall, which admittedly can be a little bit difficult in the transfer portal era. He's made sure to recruit players this offseason who are not just talented, but also unselfish. As he enters his 3rd season as the Chanticleers head coach, Beck admits his team still has things to improve on, but he sees a major change in the group's leadership.
I can't even begin to explain the difference in the team makeup. I can't. You can't even, you just feel it. And I attribute to the coaching staff, their buy-in, their relationship they built with the players.
28 of 32 today.
Earlier this week, Beck named Maryland transfer MJ Morris as the Shots starting QB. Coastal opens its season on the road Saturday against the Virginia Cavaliers. And Mark, while Coastal's looking to improve after a losing season last year, down the road in Orangeburg, South Carolina State is looking to defend a 9-win season as the MEAC state champs.
Chase, you're absolutely right. Couldn't draw up a much better first year for Chennis Berry in Orangeburg than what he just accomplished, replacing the legendary Buddy Pugh, who retired following more than 2 decades, leading the Bulldogs as the winningest coach in school history. And Berry is really excited about the depth on this year's team. His approach is just to go 1-0 every day, and he knows his players have bought into that mindset. He is a coach's coach and loves those coaching cliches, but they're absolutely working for the Bulldogs because they are balling down in Orangeburg. He's a big believer in his guys earning everything, and they don't plan to dwell on last year's success.
The top of one mountain is the bottom of another mountain. So you got to keep climbing, right? At the end of the day, it's a new team. It's a new season, all right? And I don't worry about expectations, to be honest. What we want to do in this program is sustain success.
Berry's team is talented. He knows they have to be prepared for the moment and execute starting Saturday against Wofford. And that's it for us. Can you believe it? The college football season, it is finally here for our entire team that put this special together. Our photographers, Dustin and Jarrett, our producers, Jenny and Richard, for our wonderful colleague, Julie Morris at home. Hope you're enjoying the best maternity leave with your beautiful baby girl. For Chase Justice in Columbia, I'm Mark Whiteman in Clemson. Thank you as always for joining us. Enjoy all the college football to come.